September 2026 is an eventful month for all Ascendant and Moon sign. In this video, we are going to see how the month of September is affecting your Ascendant and your Moon sign. Now, in this month, Venus is entering Libra on September 2nd, and it is going to stay there for the whole month. Mercury is entering Virgo on September 7th, and on September 26th, it is entering the sign of Libra. Mars is entering its debilitation sign of Cancer, where Jupiter is placed, and Sun is changing sign from Leo to Virgo on 17th of September 2026. So let's see how each ascendant or moon sign is affected in these transits. First is Aries ascendant or Aries moon sign. For Aries, it's an excellent period for your relationship, that is with your spouse and with professional partnerships. Your love life, I'm coming back to it, but it is an excellent time for communication with spouse, to show love towards your spouse. That unconditional love, because Venus is right now in its Mula Trikona sign, that is in the sign of Libra. And for the whole month, it is going to say in the month, in the 7th house. And it is the Lord of 2nd house itself. So there are two Marakas, but I'm going to come into Marakas a bit later on. And you will find that your relationship towards spouse, your relationship towards your professional partner is developing, because Venus was in the previous sign, that is in the sign of Virgo. And in the previous months, it suffered a lot. This month, the universe gives you an opportunity to repair those relationships. And you can improve the relationships with your family. You can improve your fooding habits. You can improve your speech, but take care of your health, because Venus is the house of Maraka. It can sometimes negatively affect your health. If your Venus is retrograde in your chart and it's somehow making connection with the Libra Venus, that is through Yuti, that is conjunction, or via Drishti, or that is aspect. If this too is happening in your chart, then be careful in your relationship with your family, with your speech and everything. It can cause harm to yourself, because you are not realizing the goods in the relationship. You are not recognizing your partner. You are not valuing your partner. So you have to visit from within and introspect, and you will realize that your partner is doing great. You don't have to worry about it. The second most important thing is that Mercury enters the sign of Virgo. And later on, it will move towards Libra. But when it is in the Virgo for the maximum period of this month, you have to be very analytical and very observant towards your enemies. The universe has given you to observe your enemies, to analyze your enemies, to analyze your daily routine. And those who are not maintaining the daily routine will be forced to maintain their daily routine. There will be some effort to maintain their daily routine, and that will be excellent. Because for the first half, when Mars is in the Gemini, that is in Mercury sign, your first house lord is in the 3rd house. So a lot of effort is required. So the effort will be required to maintain your daily routine. And if you maintain that daily routine, it is an excellent thing for you. You have to be very analytical with your enemy, as I have told you, and be careful about your health also, because Mercury is exalted in this sign, and it is not a very good lord in your horoscope. It is the lord of the 3rd house as well as the 6th house. So be very careful with the skin related issues. And as I always do a retrograde part in every transit, if your Mercury is retrograde in your birth chart and somehow it connects with the transiting Mercury via aspect or via conjunction, you have to be one step forward of your enemy, one step forward in your routine. You have to be one step, putting much effort. The effort required will be much more to maintain your status, to maintain your data, papers that you have, like that can be property data, that can be any other data, everything. You have to be very cautious with the data, with your communication, because Mercury represents communication also. So you have to be very, very well versed in the communication if your Mercury is retrograde. You have to think before you speak. Because see, the Saturn is retrograde in your 12th house, where Mercury is aspecting this Saturn. This Saturn is being aspected by the Mercury. And if your Mercury is straight in your horoscope, that is not retrograde, this is a period where you will find delays. If you are trying to obtain a visa, if you are trying to do uh, any import export business, but it is an excellent time for spirituality. And for those who have got Mercury retrograde in their chart, this is an excellent time actually to apply for the visa. And I have done a Saturn retrograde video. So I'm not going to state what is Saturn retrograde is doing in their 12th house. You can watch that video. The link is down in the description below. And your Mars will move towards Cancer, and it will be in Cancer in the second half, in the second phase of September, where it will be debilitated. But Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer. So this is forming a Neech Bhanga, which is excellent because Mars is your Lagna Lord. And when Lagna Lord is debilitated, it's not good. But if Lagna Lord is having a Neech Bhanga, that will bring peace to your home environment. That will uh, bring peace from within yourself. Your relationship will improve. Your health of mother will improve. And this is a perfect time to take action. Because your Lagna Lord is facing a Neech Bhanga, and it is a perfect time to put effort so that you can be recognized anywhere, in your workplace, in your work environment, anywhere. So you have to have that action being taken. Do not think right now, just based on your wisdom, but based on your judgment, you take that decision. You don't have to now listen to your heart. You have to just listen to your wisdom and take the action. Now, if your Mars is retrograde in your chart, things becomes quite interesting over here. This is the perfect time that your Mars will help you to achieve success in your career. Mars retrograde, any retrograde planet has that Cheshta bal, and this will improve your workforce, your work environment. And remember one thing, if you are not taking action, if you are fully hot-headed without the wisdom, if your Mars is retrograde in your birth chart and it is somehow making connection with the Mars in Cancer via aspect or in conjunction, then you have to be very careful about your workplace politics. You cannot just take random actions. And if you take random actions, there will be frictions in the workplace. So you have to be very careful about it. Now, this is an period where you have to see and look about your love life. I'm not talking about spouse. I am talking about your love relationship with your children, because Sun and Ketu are conjoined in the first half of this month in Leo. And when Sun and Ketu are together, it creates a lot of confusion. You have children, but somehow right now you will feel that your children are not listening to you. Your love partner, whoever may be it, a boy or a girl, that doesn't matter, you will feel that your love partner is not listening to you. But that is only your confusion that you are having in your head. You have to think like that way. That is in your head. That is not actually happening. This is one of the few precautions you have to take. And you have to take good care of your children. Good care of your children. Not necessarily you have to just listen to everything they are telling. Be a good parent. Just listen to them. Just listen to their advice. That's all I can say. Now, when your Sun on September 17th moves in the sign of Virgo, this period, and for a few times that Sun and Mercury will be together till September 26th, your fifth house Lord is actually moving to the house of enemies, debts, relationship, competition, service. But you have to remember that this is the second house from the fifth house. So you don't have to worry about your relationship. Though it is moving in the sixth house, you don't have to worry about the relationship, about your children. You will find your children to be actually very competitive. You will find your love partner to be very possessive of you. And that is actually make you feel great. Okay. And when Mercury moves into the sign of Libra on September 26th, that is the last phase of this month, uh, this is the actual time to just attack your enemies. Because for the first half, as I've told you, that you are very analytical towards your enemies, you are observing your enemies, you are calculating your debts. Now it is the time to take the action. With Venus and Mercury together in the seventh house, this is the time to take the action. And what if your Mercury is retrograde in your birth chart and somehow making connection? Like I have told you, this is also not the time to take any action. Do not take action during this period. Action will come when the month of October falls. We will be discussing about that when October comes. But be very patient. Observe. That's the thing. And your Rahu is in its own sign because it's Aquarius in the 11th house, where Saturn and Rahu are the co-rulers. So Rahu in its own sign, and you are very much attracted to the social life, to your friend circle. You just remember one thing, as I've told in the Saturn retrograde video, you have to be very careful with your friend circle. You have to be very careful of who is your friend, who is your enemy. Because Mercury, again, as I've told, is in the sixth house. So you have to be very analytical. The universe has given you an opportunity. Saturn retrograde, Rahu in the 11th house, and Mercury in its exalted position. Universe has given you an excellent time so that you can analyze those enemies. Who are your actual friends and who are your hidden enemies? I shall use some hidden enemies, because if you know your enemies, it's good. But if your friend is an enemy, that's not good. And take care of your expenses. Do not just go everywhere. You see something in Amazon or in any website and you just hit the click button. Save. Save the money. Don't indulge in a spending that is not required. So that's all for Aries. Now let's move into Taurus. Now moving on to Taurus rising or Taurus moon sign. I can feel for the last month how Taurus felt. They felt very helpless at home. They felt very helpless in their work environment with their social circle. And things are about going to change. When Mercury is entering into your fifth house, that is the house of your love relationships, of your children, of your Purva Punya, that is your past life karmas, are stored in the fifth house. And Mercury is actually exalted in this sign. It is its own sign. It is also the lord of your second house. And you will find when Mercury is in the sign of Virgo, you have to be very communicative. You have to be very communicative with your loved ones, be with your children, be with your love partners. And one thing, this period will actually bring you good if you have done something good in your past. And maybe some karmas needs to be fixed, but it's okay. And overall, the communication has to be very good. And Mars in the first half is already in the sign of uh, your in the sign of Mercury. Cut, take. As you all know, your Mars in the first half is already in the sign of Gemini, that is ruled by Mercury. So your speech was harsh, very action oriented. You were very dynamic towards your family. You were always thinking about your wealth, about your food. And now it is the time to reflect on all those things through communication, because diplomacy is your main mantra of this month. And since Mercury is also aspecting the Saturn, which is retrograde currently, and you are frustrated with your social environment, of your friend circle, and of your workplace also. And in this time, you have to be very analytical about your friends. You have to, now you can actually have a clarity of who is your friend and who is your enemy, and who actually supports you in your workplace. What can you do to improve your work, to improve your job, to improve your business? And if your Mercury is retrograde in your birth chart and somehow connected with this transiting Mercury via aspect or via conjunction, this is the time that you have to self realize what your loved ones value is, what your children brings to you. You have to take extra precaution regarding your social circle. And if your Mercury is retrograde, be the leader. Be a leader in the friend circle. Try to become a leader. Think about the enmity, obviously that is the analytical part, and try to become a leader, because the sun, which was in your fourth house, was creating a lot of problem with Ketu, though it is an own sign, is moving in Virgo on September 17th. And sun in the fifth house along with Mercury aspecting the 11th house is demanding from you to take the leadership role in the friend circle, in your work area. Why I am saying work area? Because Rahu is already there in the 10th house, and Saturn being retrograde is giving the result of the 10th house itself. And you can see more of my Saturn retrograde video, which I have done. The link is there down in the description. But when Sun comes into the 5th house, one thing you have to be very careful is that, yeah, communication is important, but that communication, don't bring that ego in for the sake of winning an argument. Don't just argue with your children. Don't just get boggled down by the lack of creativity. Sometimes you will find your creativity is blocked. But this is the time where you can think about something which can help you to progress, because Sans is also Atma, your soul. And when you have your soul Karaka, natural Atma Karaka, in the 5th house, you will find that you have to recalibrate your creative skills. Now, one of the most important transit over here is Mars moving to Cancer in the latter half of the month, which is its debilitated sign. And Jupiter is exalted over here. So it's a Nijbhanga happening. There is no doubt about it. No doubt about a Nijbhanga happening. But this Jupiter is also in a position which is known as Maran Karakstan or MKS. So be very careful with your siblings. Your siblings will require some sort of help from you. Okay? Analyze your wisdom, use your wisdom to help them out, to sort out that issue. Take good care of your datas, and your communication will be excellent no matter what. And one thing is that in this period, since Mars is your 7th house lord and your 12th house lord, it is having a Nij Bhanga in your third house. You have to be very, very careful with the relationship, as well as with your 12th house activities. 12th house represents your blood pressures and all those things. So you have to be very, very accommodating to your partner. You don't have to be very aggressive, because Mars is not debilitated over here anymore. It is not debilitated. The Nijbhanga has happened. And you find that energy. So use that energy to take care of your spouse. And if you are planning to move abroad in this time, it's a good time to push forward, to have that visa, to have those things. And those who are doing meditation, those who are doing yogas, and those things is will take some effort to do it. You will not find that old concentration. You will not have that concentration to do those yogas and all those sort of stuffs. And 12th house is also about expenses. When Mars is going to the third house, you have to be very careful with the expenses, because when Mars was in the second house in the Gemini, you just spent a lot. Now it is a time that you have to be very careful with your spendings. Don't indulge yourself in just wrong spendings. Okay. And if your Mars is retrograde in your birth chart, and this is a period that is quite good for you, quite good for you. This is the period where you might travel long distance, where your relationship with your father will improve. This is the time where you will find a guru, or you will find your guru's word that is very, very powerful. You will find wisdom. For sometimes it happens that our guru has spoken something and we have not understood it, or we have not caught up to it. Now you will understand, oh, my guru has spoken this way. So this is what is really happening. Now, if we look into Venus, Venus is there in the sign of Libra. And this is the position, though it is its own sign, and Venus is your Lagna Lord, it is the sign where your Venus becomes same case. That is also Maran Karak Sthan for Venus. So be very careful of your health. And you also know that Venus possesses a power. Shukra possesses a power which can revive the dead. That is the Sanjivani. So even if you are sick, even if there is a health issue, go and check your doctor and you will recover. So you don't have to worry about the health, but take care of your health. Who wants a bad health? Even if you can recover. Okay. And this is the best period for your diplomatic sense to come in. You have to be very diplomatic. Those who are facing office politics, you should have been facing office politics for the past month or so. This is the best time to be diplomatic. Diplomatic towards your enemies. Diplomatic. Uh, if you are competitive, don't just show the aggression in the competition. Be very diplomatic. Diplomacy is the key word over here. And when Mercury enters the sign of Libra in the second half, that is on September 26th, uh, this Mercury is going to help Venus to analyze those diplomatic things that you have done. This is a great period. Now, after 26, you can take action against your enemies. You can take action against the competition, the planning that you have done for the competitive things and all those things that you have done. It's an excellent period for you. When Mercury will enter in the last half, not on the first half. First half, you are very diplomatic. On the second half, after 26th, you are right now just going to take the action. Because Mercury is intelligence, rely on your intelligence and take the action. Next comes Gemini ascendant or Gemini moon sign. For the Geminis, I am very, very sorry what you have faced for the last 2 months or so, 2, 3 months, because Saturn was there in the 10th house and it is retrograde right now. There was a lot of issue regarding your jobs, regarding your career. I wouldn't say jobs only, regarding your career. And now it will be a time that you will be slowly recovering from it. You see, Mars is in your Lagna for the first half of September 2026. And you have that action. You are always taking action and you are not yielding any results. You were competitive, you were maintaining a routine, you were doing all those sort of things, but all that was only action oriented without getting any such as a very good result as a whole. Now, when Mars in the second half will move towards Cancer, where Jupiter is uh, on 18th, and Mars will become debilitated. But Jupiter is exalted in this sign. So a Nij Bhanga is happening in your chart. And this is an actually one of the best thing that can happen to you. Mars is your 6th house lord as well as 11th house lord. So you will win your enemies through speech. Your family members will help you. You will be dominating your friend circle. You will be, Jupiter is exalted and Mars is over there. You will find opportunities in your career. You will find that right now those blockages in your profession, in your career, is slowly making the way out. It's slowly falling into place and you are getting some opportunities, and you have to take immediate action. Don't think like this way. Okay, I have been wanting to change, or I was suppose jobless for this 1 month. I'm getting a less salary. Should I take? Don't think. Based on your wisdom, take the job based on your chart, obviously, and your Mahadasha. But generally, on your wisdom, you have to take your action. Okay. And the third house, that is the house of your siblings, effort, when Sun and Ketu is there in the first half, all your efforts was going down to drain, though Mars was in your Lagna. And third house Lord in the third house, along with Ketu, was creating a lot of self confusion. Lot of confusion. You were putting the hard work, you were not getting it. And when the Sun moves into your fourth house in the 17th of September, we will find that it is also aspecting the retrograde Saturn, and things, more opportunities, more leaderships will come, will demand in your workplace, and you have to take it. You have to take all those things. For the Saturn part, Saturn retrograde part, I have made a video on Saturn retrograde. Go please watch it. And what if your Mars was retrograde in your horoscope? I've missed that part. If your Mars is retrograde in your horoscope, on your birth chart, and it is somehow making connection via aspect or in conjunction with your transiting Mars, this is a time where you have to analyze your enemies. You have to analyze your friend circle. Opportunities will come. You have to be more refined in your speech. You have to think about wisdom. You have to think about who are you basically. Who are you to others? What is your value to others? Now, this is an excellent time to start your research. Anything deep research you can start. And obviously, as I've told, for the direct Mars or for retrograde Mars, opportunities will be there. For the direct Mars, you have to take the action. For retrograde Mars, you have to have that wisdom. You have to analyze those things. You cannot just take direct action. You have to think over it and then take the action. That's the difference. Now your Mercury will be in the sign of Virgo, that is in its own sign, your Lagna Lord in the fourth house, and the home environment which was disturbed is right now starting to heal. When Sun will join into Mercury on September 17th, you will find that, yeah, your home environment is coming together. It is building up that pace that was usually lost. Your mother's health will increase. You have better communication. You can express yourself with all the members of the family, and you will find peace in your home. Though Mercury is MKS in this position, it is not a very comfortable position for the Mercury, but you have to be thinking like this. You have to use your intelligence. You have to use your intelligence to win over your home environment. In the second half, on September 26th, your Mercury is moving to the sign of Libra, where Venus is. Venus in the fifth house is already giving you good results. Your fifth house Lord in the fifth house, it is also the Lord of your 12th house, aspecting the 11th house. So you will find a lot of foreign clients, even foreign opportunities is coming. And it is a time where your creativity will be at its peak, and you are slowly uh, being recognized in your friend circle, and there are a lot of profits, that is labha, in your life. You are seeing the profits. You are slowly trying to understand how to make profits. When Mercury will join Venus, you are having a full picture. You actually, your brain is have gone into a very analytical mode, in a very communicative mode towards your profits, towards how to deal with your foreign clients. And Venus in the fifth house is also your love relationships. This is an excellent time to say how much you love your children, how much you love your loved ones. Be it a boy, be it a girl, doesn't matter. You have to express yourself. Mercury coming on the 26th. Before that, you have that sense of love. You will find you are loving them without expecting anything in return. And that is actually very good. This is the house of your Punya karmas, and Venus in the Mool Trikona. So There can be some karmic related debts. For that, we have to analyze D9 and all those charts, your individual birth chart, your individual dasha. I'm not going into your purva punya karma. And this is the time where you can think about your expenses, about where you were making losses, be it in your career, be it in your relationship, be it the money that you spend. What are the loss where you are making loss? Now it is the time that you will feel that, oh, I was making loss in this area. Now I will not make the loss. And what if your Mercury was retrograde in your chart? And somehow it is making a relationship with the transiting Mercury. This is an excellent time to be putting your pedestals for your leadership in your workplace. Be a leader in your workplace. Reflect upon what your loved ones, your be children, be your lover, is saying to you. You reflect on them. Try to communicate the love after reflecting. Don't be spontaneous in your answers. Be reflective. Show the love, but reflect within yourself and analyze what is good for them, what is good for you. Okay. And if your Venus is retrograde and it is somehow making relationship with the chart Venus via, with the transiting Venus via uh, aspect or by a conjunction, you have to be very careful with your loved ones. You have to be very careful with your children. You have to understand your children. You have to love your children from within. That selfless love should be there, but you have to realize how much all they love you. For direct Venus, that was a very unconditional love. For retrograde Venus, this love is also unconditional. But you have to realize from within how much they are loving you. And you will realize that, oh, yes, they are actually very lovable. Okay. So, best of luck, Gemini. Take care of your career. Next is Cancer Lagna, Cancer Ascendant, or Cancer Moon sign. Jupiter is in your Lagna, exalted. And though Jupiter was exalted in your Lagna, there was some friction in your speech with your family members. And it is a very good time for your loved ones also. Mars was there in your 12th house. And the second portion, Mars is coming to your ascendant on September 18th. And this Mars is debilitated in the sign of Cancer. But you see, Jupiter is exalted in this sign. So a Nij Bhanga is happening to your Mars. Now, why this is important? The most auspicious planets, Ati Yogkarak for your horoscope. Mars rules your 10th house as well as your 5th house. This is a perfect time to say, I love you. And those who are waiting to propose your boyfriend or girlfriend, okay, you can propose. Seriously. Don't hold back because Mars demand action. It is not debilitated right now. Nij Bhanga has happened. And is just go and take the action. Don't think about it. Your 5th house and your 10th house Lord sitting in the Lagna is not debilitated, is a blessing for you. Take this opportunity. After 18th, not before 18th. Before 18th, Mars is in your 12th house. It will create the loss. Don't buy in impulse, go to your someone you love and say, oh, I love you. A beautiful proposal. No, Mars is in the sign of losses, in the sign of Gemini. So let it come and stabilize into the Cancer sign. And then you propose, not before that. Okay. So that is the thing. And you can help out your children in this time. Your children will require some help. Your children will require to know how much you love them. Show them the love. Take action of your children's requirement at this time. Take action at your workplace. Be recognized as a leader in the workplace. This is an excellent time where you can express yourself, where you can take the action in your workplace that, okay, I am doing this job. This is my profile to your boss and say, hey, boss, look, I have done this job. Be vocal. Be vocal because Mercury is in the sign, in the third house, in the house of communication. It is exalted over there, the communication. So, communication is very important. So, when you communicate to your boss, hey, communication through action, okay, not only communication, you communicate, but you take the action also. Say, hey, boss, I've done this project. Hey, I've done this project. You can see that how good I make this project. So, what do you say? Take the action, take the recognition. Do not shy away from it. And if your Mars is retrograde in your chart, then hold your horses. Do not propose right now. Even when Mars moves into the first house, do not propose. First, you have to realize that whether that person you love is worthy of your love. And then you propose. Because you have to reflect from within. And after that, only you can propose. Not before that, you just go and propose yourself. It's the best time if you want to start uh, Hanuman Chalisa or Hanuman Sadhana, you can start that. That will help you to reflect upon yourself. Okay, if your Mars is retrograde in your chart and somehow it is connecting with the transiting Mars. Now, when your Mars is retrograde and it is somehow forming that connection, then you also have to communicate to your boss, but through realization. Will if I tell this to my boss, what is the outcome? Think about the outcome. Think about your wisdom, about your judgment. Because Mars, if retrograde in your birth chart and Jupiter is there, Jupiter will actually help Mars before taking action, before you take any action, before you speak anything. Have that wisdom, have that knowledge. What will happen if I speak? Okay. And your sun, which was in the second house for the first half of the month, is coming to your third house. Excellent time. No need to worry. This is an excellent time to just intensify your communication. You can probably, if you are a writer, if you are an artist, it's the best time to express it to the whole world. To the whole world. Make yourself appear to the whole world. If you have some poetry or stories or drawings that is left in your cupboard, okay, publish it. It's the best time because see, Venus is Digbala and it is in his own sign in the fourth house for the whole month. It's good for your home environment. It is good for your mother. And Venus is also the lord of your 11th house. That is recognition, that is gains, that is friend circle. Okay. So your 11th house lord is sitting in the fourth house. You will gain from home environment. Those who want to purchase land can purchase land, but this is not a financial advice that I'm going to give you. That is based on anybody's personal horoscope. So we have to check the horoscope, we have to check the dashas before giving this sort of recommendations. But it is a good period for you for the home environment. You will be seeing some profits. And as far as concerned, your Mercury is in the third house, as I've told, it is exalted over there. It's good for communication. And this Mercury in the latter half, in September 26th, is coming to the sign of Libra. So in this period, though Mercury will be in this position is in case, but since it is having the Venus support, uh, in this time, which was you were very good in the communication, suddenly you will feel that your communication will not be that good in the last 4 or 5 days of this month, 4 days or 5 days in this month. So be careful, but the effect of that can be seen from September 22nd, 21st. Okay, so be careful with the communication. Be very wise with your communication. Okay, be very diplomatic in your communication. When Mercury is in the sign of Libra in the fourth house, be very diplomatic in your communication. Okay, now Saturn is in your uh, ninth house. I've done a Saturn retrograde video. Do watch that video. It's a very good time. You can start your sadhana, you can start astrology, you can start any occult, you can start any uh, thing related to research to your field. That's very welcome. Now, what if your Mercury is retrograde in your chart, in your birth chart, and it is somehow making a connection with the transiting Mercury via aspect or via conjunction? This is the time before you speak, you think. Before you take action, You will think. Communication is not a problem for you, but you have to think, you have to introspect that communication and then speak out. Same thing happens if your Mercury is retrograde and is in Maran Karasthana. That is not that much harmful, but still you have to introspect on the communicative mode. All that I've stated for the straight Mercury, when your Mercury is direct in the birth chart, you will do the same, but with reflection. You have to think, pause, and then be communicative. What if your Venus is retrograde in your birth chart and is somehow making connection with the transiting Venus? Then this is the time where you have to be careful with your home environment. You have to be very careful with how you are making yourself feel good in your house. Yeah, your house environment will be okay. Your uh, gains will be there, but still that there will be some self-doubt within you. That self-doubt. And when Venus is retrograde in your birth chart, and making a connection with the transiting Venus, be very diplomatic. Be very diplomatic in your workplace. That's the thing. When Venus is direct, you are being diplomatic in your home. You are finding the home environment very peaceful. But when that is retrograde, you have to be very diplomatic in your workplace. Otherwise, you will find that somehow there are some hidden enemies. Everybody has that in the work environment. Everybody has hidden enemies in the work environment, and you are giving them the opportunities to just give them a card, means give them a scope. Don't give them a scope. Be very diplomatic. So take care, Cancer ascendant, and we will be moving towards Leo next. The next is Leo rising, Leo ascendant, or Leo moon sign. For the Leos, this was for the last month or so was a very confused month for you. You were very confused about yourself, about your decisions, about your love life, about your job. Though everything was there, but yet there was a feeling of dissatisfaction in you for the last 1 month or so. You were also worried about your in-laws. This month is going to be bit different. You see, Mercury will move into your second house, that is in the sign of Virgo, where it is exalted. It is actually a very good time for the accumulation of wealth. It is a very good time where you can invest yourself for the family, your speech, your analytical brain. That is, a Mercury being exalted, you are very analytical about your profits. And not only that, you will be having money in this period when Mercury enters into the sign of Virgo. This period will actually manifest a lot of things. It will start accumulating wealth. It will start help your family. You will be very, very productive in this period. Your speech will be very, means your speech will be of high value. If I am going to say, put it forward like that, everybody will listen to you. Even in your friend circle, everybody will pay attention to what you say. And you see Mars, which is Ati Yog Karaka for your ascendant. That is the most beneficial planet horoscope in your birth chart, which rules the fourth house as well as the ninth house. It was in the 11th house. So through luck, through family, you had that sense of profit. But right now, Mars is going to its debilitated sign, that is in the sign of Cancer. But Jupiter is exalted over here. So Nij Bhanga is happening in your chart. Now, this is specifically very important. Now, if we relate that with Mercury, Mercury, your 11th house lord sitting in the second house, was helping you for the wealth accumulation. And your fourth house lord and your first house lord, when the second part, when in September 18th, Mars moves to the your 12th house, which is where the exalted Jupiter is, this will actually help you to accumulate wealth. And the negative side of it is that you can have that thing which is known as an impulsive buyer. Don't buy anything. Don't just take your decision impulsively for the expenses that will happen during this period. You just take the help of Jupiter's wisdom to decide which one to buy and which one to not buy. So the expense is only the thing that you have to take care of. Otherwise, this is a period where long distance travel is in your cards. Those who were applying for the visa already got the visa and can move abroad. This is a very good time, because when you are in a state of movement, a long distance travel, your luck will shine. This is the period where you will have good relationship with your family. You will have very healthy status at home. Your luck, your relationship with father, relationship with guru, your spirituality will improve in this time. And you see, Venus is going into the sign of Libra. And third house is not a very good house for a benefic planet. But this sign, this is the Mula Trikona of Venus, and it is its own sign as well as Mula Trikona for Venus. And the main theme over here is communication through diplomacy. You have to be very, very diplomatic in your way of communication. See, Venus rules your 10th house. And the 10th house lord in third house, you have to be very diplomatic, and that diplomacy will actually prosper in the relationship sector. There are certain feelings about romanticism in your mind, because 3, 7, and 11 is Kama Trikon. That is, Kama is something, it's not about sex or something, it is about being very passionate. Okay, so that passion in love will be there. Be very careful, it's not a very good period for that. Don't be passionate, be diplomatic. And when sun in the 17th of September moves to your second house, that feeling of confusion that you had for the last 1 month or so will be over. It's an excellent period because your Lagna Lord is in the second house. Your 11th house Lord is in the second house. Your Mars, which is 9th house Lord, is not having a, is now moving to the 12th house, but it is not of niche. It is not exalted too, but the niche bhanga is happening. So everything around you should focus on wealth accumulation. You should put your energy towards your family, towards your speech, towards your communication, and that will greatly help you in your love relationship, in your professional life, towards your spouse, and all other relationships. But you have to be very careful with the expenses regarding your in-laws, because you will be facing some friction with your in-laws when sun moves into the second house, and that will be aspecting your eighth house where Saturn is also retrograde. So this is a period where there will be a friction with the in-laws, but you have to solve it without involving ego, without showing authority. That is exalted in the second house. Okay, and that problem with the in-laws will persist, but you have to be very analytical, very thoughtful. If you are thoughtful, because Jupiter is in trines with Saturn, the blessings of Guru will be there. Exalted Jupiter is already in trine with Saturn's. That is in the 12th house. Jupiter is in the 12th house. It's already giving aspect to the 8th house. Okay, ninth aspect to the 8th house, one of the most auspicious aspect that you can demand from Jupiter in your 8th house. So if you use analytics, if you use your wisdom, your in-laws, or 8th house, the house of transformation, the house where you are, if you are into research, if you are into astrology or occult or anything related to 8th house, even insurance, if you are into insurance sector, Venus in the third house, very diplomatic with your clients, is a very good relation. It will be a very good time for the marketing. Okay, be diplomatic in your marketing and you will shine, because Jupiter is aspecting that. Now, what about if the planets are retrograde? Suppose your Mars is retrograde in your chart and it is somehow in your birth chart, and it is somehow forming a connection with the Mars, transiting Mars via conjunction or through aspect, that is drishti. Then you have to be very introspect from within. Means the decision regarding your home, regarding your father, regarding your guru, you have to think twice before taking the action. First, when Mars was set, you were taking action, you were savings, you were doing all those 12,000 activities like going outside. But this time you have to be very careful. You have to think about the pros and cons before taking the decision. Don't take any impulsive decision if your Mars is somehow retrograde, if your Mars is retrograde and somehow forming connection with a transiting Mars. Now, if your Mercury is retrograde, even though Mercury retrograde will not damage you or hamper you from accumulation of wealth, if your Mercury is retrograde, you will find that if you are into a profession which deals with others' money, that is excellent. That will be an excellent thing for you. You are actually helping others or accumulate wealth, as well as you are also accumulating wealth yourself. It is a good time if your Mercury is retrograde and it is somehow forming connection with the transit Mercury. You inheritance is on the cards. If you are fighting for the inheritance, yeah, you can have that inheritance. But remember, your sixth house lord is in the eighth house, transiting Saturn. The sixth house lord is Saturn. Is in the eighth house. That is Viparit Rajyog is forming. So there will be hurdles. You have already facing hurdles, but this is a lifeline that is given by the universe. If you have a retrograde Mercury, is a chance where you can be very analytical and die for their inheritance. If you are fighting for their inheritance, if you are fighting with your enemies, okay, and be very tactical with your speech, very introspect with your speech. When you just can't just come out and do something or speak something without thinking. If you think and speak, then there is every possibility that you are gaining from this period. And what if your Venus is retrograde in your birth chart? The everything that I said about the diplomatic thing will be there. But you have to be very cautious about only one thing. Diplomacy is fine, but don't be over diplomatic. There will be times when you have to choose sides in your work or profession. Use the judgment. Use judgment. You have to introspect before being diplomatic. Don't be diplomatic like, okay, I will not take any side. I'm very diplomatic. Sometimes you are forced to take a side, and that might happen during this period. Overall, your love relationship, your spouse relationship, uh, though your relationship is in a bit of tussle, but it will be taken care of. You don't have to be worried about that relationship matter. But one thing I want to tell you, that in this period you might meet someone, you might meet your guru, who is practically going to give you some advice which will be very helpful in your career. And don't be over possessive with your spouse or with your business partnerships. Okay, don't be over possessives. And if you are not over possessive, this is an excellent period for you. Even long distance travel was bringing you luck, and short distance travels will be luxurious travels. Okay, and that will also help you in your work. So try to utilize this period. This is an excellent period for the wealth accumulation, to be diplomatic, to look into your speech. uh, that's all for Leo. Take care. Next we come to Virgo ascendant, Virgo rising, or Virgo moon sign. Now, those of you who are in Virgo might have faced some loss in your life regarding money, regarding opportunities, uh, regarding your love life, but that losses are not going to sustain in this month. Okay, and you are confused how to stop those losses in your life. And if you were into spirituality, that was an excellent time for the spirituality. I am completely saying that it was an excellent time. But those who were in the materialistic world, more about materialistic world, not in spiritual, not believing in spirituality, or not so much into spiritual self, they had faced some losses. So this is a very good time so that your losses are minimized in this time. Why? Because Mercury, your Lagna Lord, your ascendant Lord, is in Lagna itself in the first house. Excellent, which is an excellent thing. It is exalted in the Lagna. Your way of speaking, your way of communication, your way of problem solving is at its peak right now. It's at its peak. There is no doubt in it. You are witty, you are charismatic, you are that old self. Okay, so always you are finding joy, or you are finding matters which are very witty, and you are actually expressing it to the world. It's not you are keeping it to yourself, you are actually expressing to the world. You are speaking, and when you speak, When you speak, everybody listens, and that mostly affects your career. New opportunities in career will come, because for the past month or so, for the last say 1.5 months, you were putting so much effort in your profession, in your job, and yet you were not having that sort of result. Now it's the time where you will be seeing some results. Okay, and that is supported by the other transits also. Venus is moving into the second house in the sign of Libra, that is its Mula Trikona sign. And Venus is the lord of your ninth house. Ninth house lord moving into the house of accumulated wealth through your luck, with the help of your father, with the help of your guru. So when you speak, when you do things that are very natural to you, because your Lagna Lord is exalted, you start accumulating wealth. And by wealth, I'm not meaning any money. There is a misconception being wealth equivalent to money. Wealth can be anything. Your family can be your wealth. You may cherish your family as your wealth. You may cherish money as your wealth. You may cherish education as your wealth. You may cherish luxury as your wealth. Okay, anything can be wealth. But this time, the wealth accumulation is strong in your chart through luck, through sheer luck, through advice of your father. If your father gives some advice, if your guru gives some advice, listen to it. That will effectively help your family life. And those who were having a issue in the relationship, yeah, there were issues in the relationships also, especially with your spouse, not so with your in-laws. You will find that it is recovering. Those things are slowly recovering, and that is recovering because of your charm, through your diplomacy, the how you speak. Because the way you spoke for the past 1.5 months was not very magnetic. This time your speech is magnetic, your way of communication is magnetic. Okay. Now, why I'm saying magnetic? Look at Mars, which was in your 10th house, is moving, sorry, to the 11th house in its debilitation sign on 18th of October. Sorry, 18th of September, what I'm saying. I'm out of my mind. 18th of September. And it is debilitated, but Jupiter is exalted in this sign. Neech Bhanga is happening. And what is Mars to your horoscope? Mars is your 8th house lord and your 3rd house lord. Not a very benefic lord. Not a very benefic lord. And it is going to the 11th house. So all the efforts that you have made, all the things that was really suppressing you, the transformation that you were looking for the good, not for the bad, is going to give you the results when it is in connection with your Jupiter. So your wisdom will be all time high. You can make profits through your hard work. You can have short distance travel, and short distance travel will give you some profit. And slowly and surely, you will see that you are gaining fame. You are stopping those leakages because the wealth accumulation has started. And when Sun moves into your first house, okay, and the 17th of September, Sun in the first house, the Karaka of the first house, in the first house, along with Mercury, where you will see the limelight falling in you. That limelight in your family life, in your profession, and everything is falling over that. That is a very good period for you. Only thing I want to make you very cautious is about your love life, about your creativity. Your creativity is receiving a blessing from Jupiter. There is no doubt about it. But the Lord is in the 7th house retrograde. So your creative blockages, which you are thinking it's a blockage, not a blockage. It's waiting for the wisdom. It's waiting for your decision with the wisdom. Okay. So that if you can bring wisdom into your love life, into your creativity or your children, that is a very good period for you. Otherwise, there will be some hiccups in that zone, as well as you have to take care of your health. Health issues are on the cards, but that are very much manageable because you have got that energy, Rahu in the 6th house. You have got that energy, that tenacity to fight. So if you are facing some health issues, you can go to the doctor and you can fight through it. So overall, this is the period. But in any transit, I also mention about the retrograde planets. Suppose your Mercury is retrograde in your birth chart. Your Lagna Lord is already retrograde in your birth chart, and somehow it is making connection with the transit Mercury through aspect or through conjunction. Whatever I have told you about the direct Mercury stands. Only the thing is that before making any speech, any communication, any outward expression, you have to think, and then you have to express yourself. Otherwise, there will be some confusion, some misunderstanding in your work area, in your love life. Okay, so have that reflection coming in, and when Mercury moves into the second house, if Mercury moves into the second house, and if your Mercury is retrograde in your chart, be very specific or analyze every word you say, every speech you make from your mind, from your mouth, not your mind, from your mouth. Think about it and then speak. If your Venus is retrograde in your birth chart and somehow it is making connection with the transiting Venus, it's no doubt a bad period, but this is a period which demands diplomacy to your in-laws, which demands diplomacy. If you are into insurance, your clients demands that diplomacy. You yourself have to be diplomatic. If it's in the second house, it was diplomatic if towards your family. But if it Venus is retrograde, you are yourself being diplomatic. You have to be very diplomatic. You have to stay neutral. You cannot take sides. If your in-laws are creating some problems, if you are facing problems in research and development, if you are facing some blockages regarding your astrology studies also, you have to be very diplomatic. You have to have a very positive outlook in that period. And what if the Mars was retrograde? Mars retrograde was a hell lot of pain in your professional life. But over here, if Mars is retrograde and it is joining Jupiter, it's a good time for the creativity. It's an excellent time for creativity. It's an excellent time in your professional work. Take action in the profession or the job that you do. It's demanding action right now. So that was the overall for Virgo ascendant or Virgo moon sign. We will be now moving forward to the sign of Libra. Next is Libra ascendant, Libra rising, or Libra moon sign. Now, again for Libra, for the last 1.5 months and during this eclipse period, you were in self-doubt. Okay. You were not because of you, but because of your friend circle. Because of the relation, means public relationship, not your personal relationship, of the public relationship, of the friend circle, of your social surroundings, you were confused. Okay. You were devaluing yourself a lot. And that devaluation had got something, a sort of, what to say, I don't want to use that term depression, but it's not depression, it's a self-doubt rather. And in this time, Venus, your Lagna Lord, is coming to your Lagna itself, which is in its Mool Trikona sign in Libra, and you are going to reinvent yourself. This is the time where you reinvent yourself, that you are, yeah, Libra is a sign of diplomacy. So you are very diplomatic. You have understood what is the pros and cons when you speak, when you take sides. So you are diplomatic and you are reinventing yourself. This is the period where you reinvent yourself through expenses. Why I'm saying expenses? Because see, Mercury will be in the sign of its exaltation in the 12th house, in the sign of Virgo, in the 12th house. So 12th house Lord in 12th house is a very Rajyog, but this is also has increased your spending. But where you will spend on yourself. Though, and those are will be some luxurious buys. Okay. So yeah, Saturn is having an aspect on the 12th house, which tells you, okay, you have to check your expenditure. Saturn retrograde. I've done Saturn retrograde videos. You can check that in the link in the description. I will be adding that link if you have not watched that video. So yeah, you have to make some expense for yourself, to groom yourself, to reinvent yourself. But that expense should not cross a ceiling. You have to be very calculative because Mercury demands calculation. And Mercury is not at all comfortable in the 12th house. Okay. If you see the Kalpurusha Kundli, Mercury is debilitated in the 12th house. But that feeling of, though Mercury becomes exalted in the 12th house, that feeling of analytical, that feeling that you are being analytical is not expressed to the outer world. Okay. So you have to be very analytical with your spending. Do spend, do reinvent yourself, but with a margin, with a ceiling. And when Mercury later on in 26 September joins your Venus, oh boy, you have already reinvented yourself. Now it is the time where you express yourself through speech, through communication. You are communicative. There is a very possibility of having fixing your relationships with your father, fixing your relationship with your mother, your loved ones, those through speech, through communication. I'm not talking about communication, I'm talking about using your intelligence through speech, being diplomatic. When you are diplomatic, and if your speech is also supporting that diplomacy, okay, you can win the world. If you are diplomatic, but you are not very good at speech, you are not very good in way of communication, that is one of the negative points. But if that speech and your way of communication is added to that diplomacy, oh boy, that brings glory to everyone. Okay. So when Mercury enters that sign, it is an excellent time for you. And slowly after the mid of the month, when Sun is going to enter your 12th house, that friendship issue or the social circle problem will solve. But Sun is not at all comfortable in the 12th house. Okay, this is an MK's position of Sun. When Sun will enter the 12th house, this is an MK's position of Sun on the 17th. So you have to strengthen your Sun. How to strengthen your Sun? That will depend upon your horoscope, your natal Sun, and all those things. But you have to strengthen your Sun. And by strengthening your Sun, you can achieve the leadership qualities in your friend circle. That was missing. Regarding Mars, which is in your 9th house, right now in the starting of September, it will be in the 9th house, which rules your 2nd house and your 7th house. In your 9th house was not that much problematic after all. But but through sheer guess of luck, through sheer advice of gurus or your father, you were surviving that relationship, that aggression relationship, that speech that you have was very aggressive. Okay. But now that is all settled. Mars in 18th of September will move to the sign of Cancer. It is debilitated in the sign of Cancer, but Jupiter is exalted. A Nij Bhanga is happening. So Mars no longer remains debilitated. This is a time where you can rebuild the relationship with your spouse. You are already reinventing yourself. You are already bringing that charm, the way you look, the way you feel, and that will ultimately have positive impact in your family and in your relationships, both private with your spouse as well as public relationships. Now, the only precaution we need to take over here is that regarding your over obsession of your loved ones. Don't be over obsessive. Don't just always feel like that they are betraying you or they are not paying attention or they are not loving you. The children doesn't love you. Uh, it's not like that. They all love you. And if they show love, do appreciate it and don't be over possessive. Leave that over possessiveness and be careful with your bone health. Your bone health is will face some issue in this time. It might face issues regarding your eyesight. Your eyes some may create some problem, but go and check a doctor if you have those problems regarding bones and eyes. Uh, that will be sorted out based on your chart, because I cannot make some predictions like that without looking into your natal chart. Now, suppose if your Venus is retrograde, but is your Lagna Lord is already retrograde in your chart, and somehow it is connecting with the transiting Venus, either with conjunction or through drishti. You are reinventing yourself. That is of no question. But there will be a lot of doubt, means ifs and buts, whether you will reinvent yourself or not. I necessarily do not feel that it is a very bad period for you, or it's a very bad thing, because when you introspect from within, if you realize from within, you are actually become a better person. Okay. So don't have to worry if you have a retrograde planet. Retrograde planet will not affect you. If you have retrograde Venus, actually, birth chart, and somehow it's linking with the transiting Venus, you don't have to worry about that. Only introspection, and take care of your expense. Anything which I've told you about the direct Venus will also apply for the retrograde Venus, but the expense, don't, the expense is much less. Don't spend anything. Spend less. If you have a direct Venus, you can spend more, but that ceiling should be there. And for retrograde Venus, the ceiling is much lower. Spending is much lower. And if you have Mercury retrograde in your chart, Mercury retrograde in your chart, and that Mercury is in the sign of Virgo, its exaltation sign, being retrograde before spending. Analyze if you spend, whether that spend is making any profit or not. If it is not making any profit, do not spend. If it is making profit, then spend. Otherwise, do not spend. Okay. And your Mercury also over here demands that you be analytical in accessing or in evaluation of your enemies, or if you have any litigation going on, or if you are facing any stiff competition, then you have to be very analytical in the approach. And if you have got Mars, which is retrograde, if your Mars is retrograde in your birth chart, then, and if when Mars will move into the 10th house on September 17th, you have to be very careful with any action that is being performed in your career. Career wise, it's a good period, but if your Mars is retrograde and somehow connecting with the natal Mars, you have to be very careful with any action, any speech that you make in your workplace. So you have to take extra precaution in those areas of life. And best of luck. Reinvent yourself. Libra, all Libra ascendants. And now we move on to the next ascendant or the moon sign. The next is Scorpio ascendant or Scorpio rising sign or Scorpio moon sign. Oh boy, Scorpios. You were in so much transformation. You have faced so much thing for the last 1.5 months in your professional life, in reinventing yourself. You have been so much, you have suffered so much in the hands of the enemies. It's time to hit back. And thank God that the universe has given you the opportunity to do it. You see, your ascended, your Lagna Lord is in the 8th house in the first half. So in the first half, you have to endure that pain that you are suffering. But for the next half, when Mars is moving to its sign of debilitation, your Lagna Lord is moving into the sign of debilitation in the sign of Cancer. But there is a Jupiter exalted over here. A Nij Bhanga is happening, and your Lagna Lord is no longer debilitated. It's a one-time opportunity that the universe has given you. Normally, for the Scorpio ascendant, if your Lagna Lord is in the 9th house, it's debilitated. But it's no longer. So it's time to wake up, to rise, to take action, to speak for the truth. Don't think, just based on Jupiter, just pray the Guru, just listen to your father, just listen to your Guru, just say the Guru mantra and take the action. This is the time to take action. Action against your enemies. Action that can make you better, that can make you feel better. By action, I'm not saying aggression, because the Scorpio guys or the person who is Scorpio will find action equivalent to aggression. It's not aggression, it's action. I'm not telling you to fight, okay? I am taking you to take action, not to go and fight. And this, in this period of time, you will find that your job situation is also improving. You are getting opportunities. You are getting actually profit in your workspace. If you were stuck, if your promotion was stuck, yeah, you can get promotion during this period. Okay. And for that, you have to be very diplomatic in your speech, because your 11th house lord is already in 11th house, exalted, and it is forming, and it is also your 8th house lord. Okay. So the transformation was there, but when sun is going to conjoint Mercury on September 17th, you will find that you are seeing some profits. And in the first half, you have to be very careful with your speech, because through speech, through intelligence, you are going to gain. And those who are into insurance, who are doing astrology, who are doing research, will see some profits. And there can be profits in inheritance through your in-laws. Okay, that's a good thing, through in-laws. So look for those profits, be very analytical in this period, and move forward. And your Venus is in the 12th house, in Ishwa. So curb everything, curb every spending. Do not spend anything unnecessary. Yes, you will be inclined to buy that luxurious bags, luxurious shoes, watches, and all those stuffs. Don't buy. Don't buy. Uh, Also, Venus is exalted in the 12th house in a Kalpurusha Kundli. Okay. So, this is a time for pure devotion in love through your spouse. 12th house is also house of bed relationships. So, you can understand bed pleasures are on the card. Those who are having difficulty in the relationship, you have faced some difficulty in the relationship in the last 2 months, means 2 months, not in the last month, but 2 months prior that difficulty will not be there. It's a time for undeniable love. And those who love affairs, regarding love affairs, if I want to say, uh, take extra precaution in the love affairs. Okay. Be communicative to your loved ones, to your children, but don't be very much obsessed with what to do and what not to. That is just on a suggestive thing. And your mother's health can be an issue in this time, especially in the first half of the month. So take care of your mother. And what if your planets are retrograde in the horoscope? What if your Mars was retrograde in the horoscope? Oh, Mars retrograde in the horoscope, you might not have suffered that much. But when Mars is moving to the ninth house, in its debilitation sign and facing a Nij Bhanga, you have to be very careful with your communication. The way you communicate, you cannot be very aggressive in the way of communicate. You have to listen to your gurus. And if somebody is giving you some advice, if guru or fatherly figure is giving an advice, you have to take care of that. If they are saying to stop, don't take any action, don't take any action. If they are saying take any action, take the action. Regarding enemies, regarding your competition, regarding your debts, this is a very good time to take the action only after you think it is appropriate for you to take the action. First, you have to decide whether it's good time or not. Weigh the pros and cons and then take the action. Okay. So the communication needs to be very much crisp. It's not a very aggressive communication. Because if it was a very aggressive communication, you are destroying your luck right now. Now, those who are having retrograde retrograde Mars, and in the horoscope, and somehow it's connecting with the transit Mars via drishti or through conjunction, it's a very good time that you take care of your in-laws. You can do some research work. You can start practicing astrology or start learning astrology. And those who are into insurance, okay, be very gentle with your clients. Don't be very aggressive with your clients. And be very wary of the hidden enemies. So, and what if your Mercury is retrograde in your chart and somehow it is connecting with the transiting Mercury via aspect or via conjunction or iti? Then you will find that this is a very good time to express yourself to the loved ones. Profits will be there, that I am not denying, but you have to express yourself more to the loved ones. What you like, what you dislike, these are the things that, and to your children. You might You might find your children are very stubborn during this period of time, but you have to be very communicative with them. You have to make them understand through diplomacy, obviously, through diplomacy, through your intelligence, that it's okay. If you listen to me, it's okay. To your loved ones, you have to assure them that, yeah, I love you. So that's the thing. And regarding your, when Mercury will move into the 12th house, if your Mercury is retrograde, again, you have to take care of your expenses. Your expenses will shoot up like anything. And you have to take care of your expenses. You have to be very analytical in understanding your enemy moves. How your enemy, known enemies. Now I'm not talking about the hidden enemies. How your known enemies or how your competitors are moving. Okay, you have to be very analytical in that, very judgmental. And if your Venus is already retrograde in your birth chart and somehow making connection with the transiting Venus, good. Do seva, do service. That is what it is demanding. Donate something, donate some Venus items, respect women, uh, and that will help you a lot. So, for the Scorpio guys, uh, take care. See you in the next video. Now we move on to our next ascendant. The next ascendant or the next rising sign of the moon sign is Sagittarius. And for the Sagittarius person, you are finding that normally you have a blessing of Guru, blessing of Jupiter, blessing of Lord in your horoscope. But for the last few months, you were finding that your luck has completely evaporated. You were in constant tussle with your relationships, not relationships, but relationships with your father. And you were finding your advice of Guru is not helping that much, or you were in doubt with the advice that your fatherly figures or the Guru is giving you. You were thinking that your luck has dried up. And regarding your profession, that was, though you were surviving in the profession, and there was some ups and downs in the professional life, as well as relationship and with your spouse and with your loved ones and with your children. You were so much aggressive, so much things that you didn't like. That was the problem. You were worried about your mother's health, regarding your property. Because when luck fails or when bhagya is not with you, you tend to felt in the last few months that it's already over. But this transit, oh boy, is going to improve, is surely make you happy. Why? Because see, Mercury is your 10th lord, and your 7th lord will be exalted in the sign of Virgo. Oh, this is a very good point of your career, of the transformation. Real transformation, I want to say transformation for good. If you use your speech, if you use your intelligence, if you use your communication in this period, yeah, the transformation is excellent. And don't be worried about the transformation. Transformation happens for good. Use your speech, use your intelligence, use your analytical brain, okay? That brain you have to deal with the situation in the workplace. Yeah, you have faced a lot of enemies in the workplace, but that enemies will surrender to you if you use your brain. Now, Sun is also entering your 10th house. After 17th, your Sun is going to enter your 10th house, which is the Lord of the 9th house. Dharma, Karma, Adhipati Yoga. Okay. It's an excellent period. You will find the lost recognition in the your job or your professional life to revive back. And that is a very good thing for you, because if you are using your intelligence and if you are taking that leadership role in your job, not with ego, but with something which is known as authority or leadership, this is an excellent period. And after that, after the 26th of September, your Mercury is moving into your 11th house. 9th house Lord in 10th house and 10th house Lord in 11th house. So your job profession is settled. Your career, your gains are okay in this period. You don't have to be much worrying about it. You were worried, should be thrown out of that window. Okay. Now, your Venus, which is the lord of your sixth house, and your 11th house is in 11th house. So your enemies will cannot stand in front of you. So you will gain from enemies, you will gain from competition, you will gain from um, if your health was problematic, you will your health issues will resolve. You can reduce the debt because you are making some profit. So you can reduce your debt. This is a good period for you regarding your profession, your luck, your profits, and the tussle that you faced in the relationship was because of Mars in the seventh house. Mars in the seventh house is not a very good position. It is actually the MK's position of Mars. For the first half, the Mars will be in your seventh house itself. But after 17th or in 17th, Mars will move to its debilitated sign, in the sign of Cancer. But Jupiter is exalted in this sign. So the Nij Bhanga is happening. So in your relationship, your fifth house, in your love relationship, and your children or your creativity or your spouse will see a transformation. And that transformation, with the help of Jupiter, Guru, that is actually a blessing. So you will find a transformation in your creative sense. Means you are, if you are very creative, if you are an artist, you will find new ways to create, new ways of creativity, a new surge of creativity in you. But you have to rely on wisdom. You cannot take action directly. Regarding your spouse, regarding your relationship, be it personal or professional, this is also a time for transformation, but the transformation will be helpful, will be of gain, because seventh house Lord moving to eighth house, the next house is the house where wealth is indicated. Any house, second, fourth, it is good. Normally, it is good. So your seventh house Lord moving to the eighth house is not that bad. It is actually good. The transformation in your spouse or in your professional relationship will face a transformation, but it will eventually grow. Similarly, for your loved life. So it's a fifth house, and fifth from eight is fourth house. So you will find the transformation will bring you peace regarding your love life, regarding your children. That will bring you peace. We will try to find out if your planets are retrograde in your birth chart. For example, if Mercury is retrograde in your birth chart and somehow it is making a connection with this Mercury, with a transiting Mercury, what you will do? Yes, that profit is there, that good in career is there, but right now you have to be very careful with your family life. You have to be very careful. Don't try to say anything in your family matters. Keep quiet this for this whole month till the Mercury is moving to your 11th house. Don't speak anything or don't provide your opinion in your house. Just stay quiet. It's painful, I know, but that's a word of precaution that I can say. And regarding when your Mercury is in 11th house and somehow it is somehow your birth chart retrograde Mercury is connecting to the 11th house. Okay, you have to be very, very careful with your love relationship. You have to be very careful with the speech, with the diplomacy regarding your love life, regarding your children. Okay, you have to have a very diplomatic approach. If you have got two children, you have to make them feel that both of them are equal. So if you're, and also if your Venus is retrograde in your birth chart and somehow it is connecting with the transiting Venus via aspect or via conjunction, you have to have a diplomatic approach to the children also. That is there very much. You have to adopt a very diplomatic approach regarding your job. Okay, you cannot take any sides. You cannot take any side, though you know which is right or wrong. Sometimes keeping silent is better. Sometimes maintaining the diplomatic attitude is better than pointing out what is right or what is wrong. Because the Sagittarius person, I know, you cannot see anything negative going on in your space. Okay, you feel suffocated. You need to stand up with the dharma. But sometimes keeping silent is a way to express what is dharma. Okay, don't always try to express yourself what is good or what is bad, what is right or what is wrong. Be diplomatic. Now, if your Mars is retrograde in your chart, you were very aggressive in this period. Okay, since your luck was not performing well, you were very aggressive. But if you are in the second half, when the Mars is going to be conjunct with your Jupiter, and if your natal Mars is retrograde and somehow it is forming connection with the transiting Mars, you have to take care of your fooding habits, of your speech. Don't make your speech so what to say, so sharp, so aggressive that others might feel hurt. You have to take care of your family, and you have to take care of your in-laws. So this is overall a very good period, especially for the professional life. It is an excellent period for the relationship, for your love life, for your children, for your spouse. I can see it is developing, because for the next month, it will be even good. So for now, follow these principles. We are moving to the next ascendant or the moon sign. The next ascendant or the rising sign or the moon sign is Capricorn. And Capricorn, guys, your Lagna Lord is retrograde in the third house. You are putting a lot of effort. You are facing a lot of transformation in your life. You are now figuring out things. Your enemies were creating troubles for you. You were failing in competitions, or you are not that competitive. Now it's time to change. Now it's time to realize your net worth. You will be having some grace of luck regarding your competition, regarding your enemy, because your Mercury is exalted in the ninth house, in the sign of Virgo, and it is also your sixth lord. So the all the enemies which has created problem, the debts that was on your head, you were putting a lot of effort, but that debt was never being paid in full, or you were having problem in the competitions. Through sheer luck, you will now succeed. Lord Vishnu will bless you in this period. And if you have daughter in your house, it's an excellent period for your daughters. Okay, your daughter will excel in life. And similarly, your enemies will not cannot do any harm. Now, your sun is moving to the ninth house. Your eighth house lord is moving to the ninth house. I don't find anything. See, there are a lot of things when you say eighth house lord moving to the ninth house, but that also says that through eighth house you will receive luck. Through eighth house, you will receive luck. Now, what is eighth house? Eighth house is the house of transformation. For this transformative period will bring you luck. If you are into astrology, if you are into research, if you are into insurance, that might provide you luck. You might have some luck regarding inheritance. Your in-laws will be your source of luck. Okay, your father, your guru, their words can bring profits in your life. Now, regarding profit, your profit lord, that is Mars, that is in Scorpio, Mars is also your fourth lord, was in the sixth house. That was also very painful. So in the latter half, this Mars is moving to the seventh house, which is its debilitated sign. But Jupiter is exalted, so a Nij Bhanga is happening. And in this Nij Bhanga, Mars is no longer debilitated. But this position of Mars is also not a very good position of Mars, because its Mars over here is MKS. So regarding your friend circle, regarding your home environment, you cannot be aggressive. You have to rely on wisdom to guide you. It's not the time to start a war of, or to take any action, or to think any negative things regarding your spouse, regarding your family, regarding your mother. Okay, because during this time you will find that even your travels are not yielding any result. But do not travel in this period also. This will also not yield any result. And if your Venus is your fifth house lord, as well as your 10th house lord, so it is a very benefic planet. It's a Ati Yokkarak, and Venus is in the 10th house. Though the directional strength of Venus over here is a bit concerned, but it is in its uh, Mool Trikona Rashi, that is in Libra. So it's an excellent period for your career. You have to approach a very diplomatic whenever Venus is in Libra. You have to be very diplomatic in the sense of your profession, in your love life, because you Capricorns are always seeing in black and whites. You are always very serious, okay? And that seriousness is not very diplomatic. You have to get out of that character and be very diplomatic towards your children, towards your profession, towards your job, towards your karma. And believe me, this the transformation that you are facing, the pain that you are facing will reduce this month. Now, what if your planets are retrograde? For example, if your say Mercury is retrograde in your birth chart and somehow it is connected with your transiting Mercury via aspect or via conjunction. This is the time where you have to be very careful with your communication. If you are not very careful with your communication, your enemies, your enemies will take an upper hand. You have to be very careful and very methodical with the documents that you have against your competitors also. You have to be prepared. You have to have a very healthy document preparation. You have to arrange the documents very carefully. And the communication, as I have already told you. And when Mercury, if it's retrograde and somehow in your birth chart and somehow it is making connection, when Mercury moves to the 10th house, just remain silent for this month. Don't get involved into your home related matters. Okay, don't provide your expert opinion. And I'm not saying say yes to yes, no to no, but it is with Venus, so diplomacy is there. Don't give any opinion. Tell them, let me think for this month, then I'm going to tell you. If your Venus is retrograde in your chart and somehow it is connecting with the transiting Venus, then okay, it's a good thing for you as also a bad thing for you. The good thing is that in your family related matters, you are going to set an example. Okay. You are now in a mood of some decoration in your home. But let's be very serious. Do not decorate in this period because Saturn is retrograde in your third house. You will feel that intent to renovate something. See, if your renovation is that much required, then you can renovate. No problem. Saturn will not affect you. But if you are spending on luxuries which you do not require at home, that might create problem in the few months, means in the following months. And what if your Mars is retrograde in your birth chart? See, when Mars is retrograde in your birth chart and somehow it is connecting with the transiting Mars, when the Mars is moving towards over here with Jupiter, this is a serious time for you. This is the time where you have to inspect yourself. Don't be aggressive. Don't be, see, you are serious. I know you love seriousness. You love to take action, but it is not the time to take action without wisdom. Action without wisdom is a blunder. Action with wisdom is equal to success. So this time you will be urged to take action. You will be urged to make that profit that you lacked, or like signing some deal. Okay, let's do it very rapidly. Oh, I will get this money. No. Have you ever said, is this deal or is this signing of any document bringing any profit to you? Otherwise, you might face a loss. That impulsiveness, that wisdom should be there. Okay. And regarding your love life, and I missed this part, I'm very sorry. If your Venus is retrograde in your birth chart and it is somehow connecting with the transiting Venus, your love life, you have to be very careful with your love life. Okay. You have to be very careful with the way you speak to your loved ones, to your children. Your creativity must be very, means you are creativity. You are creative. You are making excellent pieces. Like if you are writing poems, if you are an actor, if you are a singer, you are in a peak of creativity. But if the Venus is retrograde, you are creative. There is no doubt about it. But that creation must be felt from within. Otherwise, you will burn yourself. Sometimes creativity burns itself. creative persons, okay, I'm also a creative person. We creative person burns ourselves by being over creative. So don't be over creative in this period. Otherwise, it's an excellent period. Enjoy and don't be serious. Sometimes life needs diplomacy. The next is Aquarius rising or Aquarius ascendant or Aquarius moon sign. So you Aquarius was very confused regarding your relationships, and you are facing some minor health issues, but this is the time to take all these things out of the window. Okay. And for the Aquarius, I always want to tell everything positive in the transit videos, but for the Aquarius guys, I am going to say something which you have to take care seriously in your life. Okay. First of all, your Mercury will be in the sign of Virgo, in the sign of Virgo, which is exalted for the maximum time of this month. And on 26, it will move to the ninth house. That's okay. But your eighth house Lord is exalted in the eighth house. So there will be a feeling of transformation. This is also a sort of Viparit Raj joke, but it's a Viparit, okay? It's not a direct Raj joke. So you have to be very, very careful with the transformation that is happening with you. And by transformation, I'm going to say you have to be very careful with the way you speak, the way you communicate, your intelligence. And the transformation will be good. Don't worry about that. But you will face some transformations in this month. I am clear about it. Though your natal chart, your dashas will uh, grant the final access, but overall, you will face this transformation. Though the transformation will be good, and this is an excellent time if you are into insurance, if you are into astrology, if you are into research, if you are a doctor or a surgeon, it's an excellent time. That transformation is not happening, but you are succeeding. You are succeeding in your life. Your creativity will be at its peak. And if you are not enjoying the eighth house qualities, I am telling you to adopt the eighth house qualities. Okay. If you are into a profession, any profession, just do the research. If you are into astrology, it's well and good. If you are not into astrology, you you can do some research. Means not research like normal research, but go in depth of the any subject. If you are a student, go in depth, study in depth. If you are doing some job, complete that job fully. If like there is nothing left to do, be very analytical. Otherwise, you will be facing problems regarding your love life, regarding your children, okay, and regarding your creativity. Your creativity will face a transformation. And if you adopt the eighth house qualities, you are bypassing that. Now, when this Mercury will move to the next sign, that is in the sign of Libra, your fifth house Lord and your eighth house Lord is in the ninth house. It's an excellent time. The transformation has taken full bloom, and this is the time where you can enjoy your luck. But luck will come through diplomacy because Venus is already there in its Mula Trikona in the sign of Libra, and you have to be very diplomatic in the way, not through your obviously through your speech, but in a way about any religious provocations. Any religious provocation you face, you have to be very diplomatic. You have to maintain a very diplomatic relationship with your father. If you are, or any fatherly figures, okay, you have to be very diplomatic in your home affairs. Okay, don't just give opinion which is right or which is wrong, because the Aquarius person is somewhat who always relies on progression. So be diplomatic for this month, and diplomacy will pay off. Diplomacy will bring you luck. Now, you will find that your Mars, which is your third house Lord and your 10th house Lord, was there in the fifth house. Okay. So you were struggling somewhat. It was not in a friendly sign of Gemini. And you were struggling somewhat with your creativity in the workplace, but that creativity will no longer be there because Mars is moving to its niche sign, okay, to its sign of debilitation. But Jupiter is there exalted in the sign. And so the Mars debilitation is cancelled, which is known as niche bhanga happening. That will help you in your work life, in your work environment. The effort that you put will bear some result in this time, in this situation. Um, Now, by result, I mean that all your competitors will face a very hard time to compete with yourself. Okay, you will be in peak of competition. Your enemies in your workplace or in your work environment, in your neighborhood, will not able to touch you in this period. But there is in the sixth house is also the house of health. Mars is there, which debilitation was fine. The third house lord moving to the sixth house, Jupiter in the sixth house exalted. Take care of your gut health as well as blood related problems like BPs, blood pressures, and all those things. So you have to take care of that. Go and find a doctor, do a checkup. It's fine, well and good. If not, okay, then you have to take the medicines or you have to take the treatments. Your relationship with your spouse will improve or it will face a transformation. Sun, which was in the house of Leo, along with Ketu, is moving to the eighth house of transformation. You will face a transformation in your relationship with your spouse, with your professional relationship. But eighth house is second house from the seventh house. Okay. It is actually the second house is the house of wealth. So your relationship through spouse will see a transformation and your in-laws might get involved. Don't let ego blind you. Don't be aggressive. Mercury is there exalted. Use that analytical power. Use that intelligence you have in your head to deal with the situation, and it will be okay. Don't worry. This is a very temporary phase. It will work out. So now the second part is that what if your planets are retrograde in your birth chart? What if your Mercury is retrograde in your birth chart and somehow it is connecting with the transiting Mercury? You have to take care of your speech, as I have told you. You have to take care of your fooding habits. Eat a lot of green vegetables. Yeah, I know you love cold foods right now. So take leafy vegetables, eat green vegetables. It's a good time for your family. If you are into love relationship, it's a good time for them. You can introduce them to the family. And regarding children, it's a very good time. You will find them very meticulous if your Mercury is retrograde. And what if your Mercury is retrograde and when it's moving to the ninth house? This time, you have to be very careful with the communication. You have to be very careful with the documents that you have. Okay. And otherwise, it's okay. The luck will shine. And what if your Venus is retrograde in your birth chart and somehow it is connecting with the transiting Venus? This time you have to be very diplomatic with your communication with your neighbors. Your short distance travel will be a very luxurious travel, and that will bring you luck. That will bring you luck. Your eighth house activities means all those research and development that we have spoken of needs extra care. And what if your Mars is retrograde in your birth chart? And it is somehow connecting with the transiting Mars, which is going to its debilitated sign and having a Nij Bhanga. In this time, it's a very good time to apply for the visa. Okay, the visa that you were being denied for so long, you will get that visa. Your just avoid any aggressive or any action or any spontaneous decision regarding your loved ones, regarding your children. That don't take any spontaneous action. As I have told previously, action without wisdom is very foolish. Action with wisdom is where you gain. So you have to rely on wisdom to take the action. I'm not telling you to don't take action. Take action, but introspect. What is your wisdom telling? Is it good time or is it a bad time? Aquarius ascendant, be happy with the transformation that is there in your life. And regarding your job life, it's perfect. Regarding your relationship, Don't be that much aggressive. Everything will fall in order in the following months. The next and the last ascendant or rising sign or the moon sign is Pisces, where Saturn is retrograde. And for the Saturn retrograde, you can watch my video if you have not watched. The link is in the description below. Oh boy, you are so much, your time has slowed down and you are complaining about the slowed time. You are complaining about your enemies. You are confused who your enemy is. You are confused of your debts in your life, your competition, who is your competitor and how to compete with them. But believe me, this is going to be an excellent time for you because the universe has given you some opportunities. There are some precautions that you are going to take, which I will be discussing. Mercury is exalted in your chart in this transit for the almost for the whole month. When on the end of the month in 26, it will move to the 8th house for the whole month. Your 4th house lord and your 7th house lord is in 7th house. But 7th house of Mercury is Marana Karaka Sthana for Mercury. It is MKS, Marana Karaka Sthana for Mercury. Now, the only way so that you can improve your relationship is through speech. Okay? Don't just be emotional. Use your speech to express yourself to your spouse, to your professional relationship, to your daily activities. Use the speech. Mercury exalted over here tells you to use your intelligence. You are intelligent, okay? And your speech is very much powerful because over the last 1.5 months, you have found very in the friction in your home place. And that friction will go away if you use your intelligence. Also, Mars, which was in the sign of Gemini in your 4th house, is slowly moving to your 5th house in the sign of debilitation. But Jupiter here is exalted. So your Mars, the debilitation is cancelled, which is known as Nij Bhanga. And your Mars is the Lord of your 2nd house and your 9th house. 9th house is your Bhagya. So your 9th house Lord and your 2nd house Lord in the 5th house is an excellent for your love relationship, for your children. The only thing that is required is that don't be aggressive towards your father, towards your guru, towards your family, towards your love relationships and your children. Don't be aggressive. Use wisdom. Okay. And you will find yourself very creative in this period. You are just like you're thinking and you are doing things. Your creativity will be at its peak, undoubtedly. And through creativity, you will accumulate wealth. You will increase your bhagya. But that action thing which I have told you, you have to rely on wisdom. Now you will find your Venus, transiting Venus, is in the sign of Libra, which is its Mula Trikona sign. It's like its office. And it is in the 8th house. 3rd house Lord in 8th house, 8th house Lord in 8th house. 8th house Lord in 8th house is a Viparit Raj Yoga. And it is not very suitable for a benefic planet like Venus sitting over there. So be very careful with your health, especially with the woman. Be very careful with your health. For males, be very careful with your wife's health. Be very careful with your private parts. Okay, there might be some hormonal disbalances in your private part, and adopt 8,000 activities to bypass them. Like if you are doing some work, if you are studying, if you are if you are doing any sort of work, do research, do thorough research. Don't leave anything unturned. Okay, and then you will just bypass it. If you want, you can start practicing astrology, or you start astrology. And if you are a doctor or if you are an engineer, yeah, it's a good period for you because you are already, especially for the surgeons, you are already involved in the 8,000 activities. You are already satisfying the 8,000 activities, but you have to maintain diplomacy in your professional life. You have to be very maintain diplomacy in your communication because 3rd house Lord is involved. You have to be very diplomatic in the way you approach your neighbors. You have to be very diplomatic in the way you approach your in-laws. I know it is painful to be very diplomatic to your in-laws or through your neighbors, both. But be very diplomatic in this whole month. Be very diplomatic, okay? Use your intelligence. When Mercury will come over here after 26th, use your intelligence. And your sun, which is in the 6th house, where you faced enemies, but enemies were not being able to do any harm, is moving from your 6th house to your 7th house. And sun in the 7th house can create friction in your relationships, means in your through your spouse, through your professional relationships. The best thing is that strengthen your sun, because sun in the 7th house, sun in any relationship house is not that good. Okay. So, and Mercury is already MKs, so you can survive only through intelligence. Don't bring ego in your relationship. Don't be aggressive in your relationship. And regarding enemies, regarding debts, this is actually a very good period. 6th house Lord moving to 7th house is actually good. So regarding your enemies, you will be finding your enemies cannot produce any harm to you. You will be winning over your enemies. You will be winning over your competition. Regarding your profession, Lord and your Lagna Lord is exalted in the 5th house. It's an excellent position. There is that previous life debt that sometimes is worrying you or creating some problem. But regarding your professional life, I don't see any hiccups until and unless you are not embracing the Jupiterian qualities in your professional life. Now, what if your planet is retrograde in your birth chart? If your Mercury is retrograde in your birth chart, the thing is that, yeah, it is still in MKS position, but this time something has changed. The change is from within. The communication, the intelligence that you have to be felt, and you will find that you are very talkative in this period. Means you are always witty, you are sharing your opinions, you are very intuitive towards your competitors, towards your enemies, and you are winning enemies over your speech. But keep in mind that speech should come through introspection, not spontaneous speeches. Okay. Now, when the Mercury is retrograde and it is coming to the 8th house, you have to take care of your speech. And somehow it is connected with your transiting Mercury. Okay, your Mercury retrograde in your birth chart, and somehow it is connected with your transiting Mercury in your 8th house via Drishti or via Yuti, that is conjunction. You have to take care of your speech. You cannot say anything that will cause pain to others. Eat a lot of green vegetables. You have to be very intelligent in your family matters, to your family members. Okay, you have to deal very diplomatically, because Venus is there conjunct with this Mercury. So you have to be very diplomatic towards your family as well as your in-laws. So you are having both push and pull along this axis. And you have to take care of your speech for your spouse. You have to be very gentle in your speech with your spouse. And what if your Venus is retrograde in your birth chart and somehow it is connecting with the transiting Venus? Oh boy. Again, you have to take care, and you have to be very diplomatic with your spouse, with your professional relationship, with your speech, with your family members, with your in-laws. Yeah, diplomacy sometimes is good. Don't be overtly emotional. Okay. Use your judgment, use your diplomacy towards your family members also. It is not a very good time to start anything new. So stall that for a period. And for the thing that if you are facing, because if you start anything new, it will face some transformations. Okay. So, and what if your Mars was retrograde in your chart and somehow it is connecting with the transiting Mars, which will be there in your 5th house along with the Jupiter? What will happen? This is actually very favorable for you. This is also very favorable for all the things which I have told for the direct Mars is not going to be reversed. But you have to avoid friction at home. You cannot be very aggressive at home. You have to have a very peaceful, a very cordial relationship into your home. You have to stay quiet at your home. Don't be angry. Don't be aggressive. I am not telling you to don't take any action, but the action should come from within with wisdom. And this is the time, if through your creativity, you will see some profits. That's undeniable. You will see some profits. And yes, you will be having some long distance travel, and that long distance travel will be profitable for you. So overall, Pisces, it's a good period for you. So September 2026 is an excellent time. Excellent time for inner introspection, excellent time. All those confusions that you have in your mind regarding any area of life, you were that will just go away. There is some brilliant phases. There is an and ups and downs are a part of life. Okay. See, an ECG graph is always up and down. That represents life. If your ECG line is flat, that means you are dead. So you cannot have a very smooth life. Ups and downs are part of life. You have to fight. September 2026 always is also bringing promise in every ascendant, every moon sign's life, and enjoy the transit, enjoy the phase. Okay. So, and one thing which is very important is that transit will work only if your birth chart has that promise, and your Mahadasha or your Antardasha or specifically your Dashas, okay, will support that transit. Otherwise, the transit will come, the transit will go, and you will not face that issue. So, see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Namaste. See you soon.